Hello friends, now let us take up the concept number 6, 20.6, object serialization. Object serialization is a very important feature in Java IO package. Before understanding the importance of the serialization process, you have to understand its importance from a real life point of view. Actually, all objects, whatever articles we use in our daily life are not alike. Suppose you are shifting your house, there are different articles to be transported. Let us take two articles. One article is a chair, ordinary chair. Other article is a double cot bed. Its size is 6 into 5. 6 into 5. Now, if you analyze that in transport point of view, can you treat them alike? Can you adopt the same process, same technique for both? Never. Because chair, if it is foldable, just you fold. Otherwise, it is not too big, its size is just compatible. Then we can easily transport it as a single article. As far as double cot bed is concerned, it is a assembled one. It is separable. There are many components are there, 10-15 components are there. All components we can separate and we can assemble and deassemble. Now, it cannot accommodate, it cannot push from any entrance, because the entrance size is much smaller compared to with the double cot bed size. In such case, what should we do? You know very well. First, you dismantle the entire bed. It is dismantled into 10 to 15 components. After that, you bundle them properly, and you have to put numbering also, marking also, right, left, etc. and all that. So, after that, it will be transported. After reaching the destination, what we do? Chair just like that anywhere we can put, because it is single article. As far as double cot bed is concerned, we have to reorganize properly. That means we have to assemble it into the original position. Then only later we can use that. So, adopting same principle, same mechanism or same technique for transportation is not prudent and is not practicable also. Understand? So, that example you keep in mind. Now, come to the programming example. Now, one data you take, one primitive data like int, float or double, you take. That is a integer constant, one item, a set of bytes, and you take an object of a student. Student object is also a variable, but a complex variable. Age, if you take one age, that is a primitive variable, a simple variable. So, it is like having a single book, having a bag of books, like that. So, what should you do? Once you take a student object, in a student object you can find a number of fields like his name, class number, roll number, address, age, grade, etc. Many data items are there, but those are bundled in one package, encapsulated in one, like your college bag. In college bag you may have 15 books, but it is organized as a single bag. It is a data structure. So, here what should we do? That we are discussing through this concept. Serialization. Actually, Java is true object oriented programming language. That is why everything is an object. Most things are objects only. So, and you know that write once and run anywhere. That means if you create an object, anybody can use that. If anybody has to use that and all that, there should be a transportation facility. It should be transported. It should be transported and all that. Like a single data item, we cannot transport it. We cannot send it through a network. So, what should be done? First, it should be whatever may be the contents of the object, it should be converted into a stream of bytes. It should be converted into stream of bytes. How you are dismantling all the components of your double cart bed and how you bundle it. In the same manner, all the bytes, an object, regardless of its fields and size, you have to convert them into stream of bytes, and that process is called serialization. Then as it is a stream of bytes, it can be sent through a network, across the network, and it reaches its destination, another program, and there after deserialization means you have to reconstitute it, the copy of the original one, how your double cart bed was there in the old house, in the new house also it should be assembled in the same fashion. In the same manner, the object also should be reconstituted as a copy of the clone of the previous object. Then only the purpose is served. For this purpose, that is the importance of this thing. So, serialization means converting an object into a stream of bytes and allowing it to transport across the network, and once it reaches the destination, it should be reconstituted like a clone of the original object and should be stored in a database. That is called deserialization. Briefly, in this manner you remember. So, in this you can find mainly two steps. First one is dissecting into stream of bytes, and the second one is reconstituting as the object. The two steps should be implemented in order to maintain the persistence of the object. Maintaining the persistence of object is the basic requirement, basic objective of the serialization. Okay. Then only the one object is created, it can be used by anybody, it can be transportable across the network, otherwise it is not possible. Okay. That point you must remember. So, now let us technically think of what should be done, what are the prerequisites. Actually, whatever object should be serializable, supports serialization, means deserialization also. That class must implement Java IO serializable interface. One serializable interface is there. If you see API, Java API, and you can find that most super classes you can find that, you can find class is serializable, class is clonable, like all these suffixes you find. So, whatever class supports serialization, serialization means implied serialization also, you should, that class or its super class must implement serializable interface. This serializable interface is available in Java IO package. Already I told you, In Java IO package, you can find 12 interfaces. One of the interfaces is serializable. Now, what are the contents in that? Actually, it is dummy one. There are no methods in that. Actually, technically, you must do that. If you do not do that, that means a class which does not implement serializable interface and all that, if you want to use it for serialization purpose, JVM throws an exception, not serializable exception, not serializable exception is thrown. That means only which the such classes which implements serializable interface, such objects only serializable, otherwise not serializable exception is thrown. That point you must remember. For this, one exception is there. Suppose if you want JVM to ignore the serializable restriction, then what you have to do? You must explicitly declare such a fields as a transient. This is one of the keywords. If you explicitly declare any field as transient and all that, then JVM does not throw this exception. That is, by that way you can get the exception from this, from serializable condition. Actually, as I told you, this interface does not have anything. It is a dummy interface and a marker one, but or ability one. It provides an ability interface. If you do that, that class get the ability of serialization, otherwise it does not get. Most Java classes are serializable. Now, you may get a doubt, why Java does not make it every class as serializable automatically. Automatically means certain classes, especially thread. In the next chapter we are going to study concurrent programming or multiple threading. Thread classes are not serializable. So, in that manner certain classes are not serializable. That is why Java cannot make all Java classes as serializable. That point you must remember. So, either the particular class or its superclass implements serializable interface, then serializable process is possible. Otherwise, JVM throws not serializable exception. One thing, if you are using any non-serializable class also for serialization, then compiler does not bother about it. Compiler does not complain. Only JVM take into consideration of that, and it does not implement serializable interface, then it throws that, unless it is declared the fields are declared as transient. These points you must remember. And one more thing, now I introduce you a new point. Whenever, already I told you, whenever a particular set of concepts you are studying, you explore the Java API, and hereafter, now first time I am introducing Java serialization, then you look at the classes whether those are serializable or not. And similar way, whenever you are understanding new concept and all that, you start probing on that, where it is, what is the importance, whatever I explained here and all that, not the end of the page. There are many other things based on this thing. I am just opening the door for you. So, you have to enter into the building and you have to explore. It is not possible at my end to explore every bit of thing and make you to explore everything. So, that is why whenever you understand a new concept and all that, in the view of the new concept, you try to explore all the relevant elements. That is a good practice and a habit of every prospective programmer.